Saturday morning, and I gotta make some coffee. And then I'm going to be making some monsters. We're going to stream it on Twitch, but also here. So here's the highlights. Stay tuned.
Okay, this first monster's kind of a riff off of a Beholder, one of the classic monsters of Dungeons and Dragons. This one, though, I was thinking would be worthwhile setting up as a psionics beast. So we're going to have an exposed brain, and instead of a big mouth, I had these drooping tentacles because I think psionics lend themselves very well to Cthulhu-esque style of things, and that maybe that's me, but it could also be partly there's the world of Living Arcanus, or I should say the world of Arcanus. Living Arcanus is a campaign for Dungeons and Dragons, and in it the Silence, which is basically like their version of Mind Flayers, all use psionics, and they're all very much steeped in kind of Lovecraftian horror kind of stuff. So with this guy, at first I was working with the black, and then I kind of add in that white so that we can get a little bit of a highlight pop to pop. Just kind of working on the forms. I want black to be in the background, the whites to be in the foreground. And that little the little smiley face I was thinking about how I feel like a cartoony monster lends itself very well to using your imagination to kind of fill in the gaps. I think it adds a little bit of I think to me it's just easier to take it and make it your own. So if you've got this monster that's like really defined, working it into your own home campaigns and stuff, I think is a little bit more difficult. And these things are really fast. I'm kind of doing these fast so that they can, it's just so we can kind of come up with ideas quickly and in the morning. So I think this overall was about a half hour, not even, maybe 20 minutes from start to finish. So I think I've got it down to about 7 minutes in this sped up version. I took off the transfer, which is basically the opacity controls on the brush. Kind of setting it up so that I can kind of ink it a little bit. I don't typically ink with the paintbrush tool. I usually use the pencil tool because the pencil tool doesn't have any anti-aliasing, and so. But I think because I've been using the brush the whole time, I just figured keep going with the brush. And these are really these are tokens, so realistically, this is you shouldn't really ever see it this size. It'll mostly be kind of smaller, like 1 inch by 1 inch. Maybe that's 72 dpi. So kind of zooming in on some of these eyes just to give them a little bit more. And at this point, I still hadn't figured out a name with me and my people watching. Kind of trying to come up with names. I think we eventually settle on the name of the Mind's Eye. So here I am, just going to sign it with love. I wanted to make the background a little bit orangey. This is kind of rough. And then I post these to my my website, my blog, for people's use. So this is the minion. And I thought, so my minions, I don't know, I like to base them off of the goblin. So I was just thinking, like, how could we make, what would a minion of that Mind's Eye thing be? This crazy, its whole mouth. I want this, like, the back end, so if it swallowed somebody, it can stretch open. All these wrinkles. Kind of change the way it's looking. Keeping those dark. I want the darks to be back. And I kind of look back to him to kind of make sure I was getting the colors right. Or I think in terms of like making sure I had some of the elements correct. shadow so he has a little bit of something to stand on. Give him some weight in the universe. And I've got a layer above the pencils I just drew, and it's set to color. And basically you kind of get this kind of like maybe overly saturated color scheme. But then if you come in after that and kind of refine it. Kind of like how it turned out. This is kind of my first time really doing that. I'm sure there's other ways of doing it and some things that we can add too. So I'll be learning as I go. But it was fun. I think it turned out pretty good for a quick and dirty, 20 minutes. Not too bad. And again, I'll post pings of these in my on my web journal at joeabarino.com. So this guy was kind of fun though. And I think a goblin is a good like base to start with, kind of a good CR1 creature. And if you add stuff to it, maybe it's more or less, depending on how tough that mini boss is. Minions for the mini boss, giving them a little more texture to the teeth. Kind of erase out some of his silhouette up a little bit. Change his angle. To feather in some of those lines so they're not quite so abrupt. Get that red eye going. Extra shadows. Sign it with love. Here we go. Eye Maw. The Eye Maw. These little, basically minions of the mind's eye. I wanted the text for the name to be, match up with the creature. So I thought these would be kind of fun. Well, maybe CR1, CR2, maybe. But maybe you have the occasional, it's grappled, and you can, put that level 1 creature in a little bit of limbo, a little bit of a world of hurt. Yeah, the mind's eye. Wanted it to be yellow, so it kind of popped made it a little bit different from the little guy. Okay, these things, it's an aberration. So I was thinking, in my mind at first, I was thinking maybe it would be based on an aboleth. And then as I was drawing it, I kind of realized that, except for the eyeballs, this is like, I think the creature's a krill, maybe. It's an Underdark monster that's basically tentacles, a beak, and a brain. But I made them all eyeballs. So, and then I gave it a body. And at first I was thinking these big spikes on for its front arms, but I wanted this to be more of a villain. So I wanted to give it some kind of the ability to manipulate things in a fine, give it some fine motor skills. So these just weird, creepy, malformed hands. Those whites pop forward. Tentacles, beak. This thing's probably got amazing spot checks. Lots of little spider eyes all over it. Those little tentacles there. Again, give him a little shadow. Give him some, give it some weight. Purple. And I kind of like how purple and green look. So instead of yellow for the beaks and the kind of the bony protrusions, talons and stuff, make them green. Put some green at some other places too. We'll refine the beak. Put a tongue in the mouth. Yeah, this thing, in discussing with the the followers and stuff on Twitch, we kind of decided that this is going to have some kind of a hive mind. So this is basically like the queen, and then the creature that we're going to create next is its like worker bees or, you know, drones. Try to give it a different skin texture in a quick way. I was kind of working on my 2-hour time limit here, so at a certain point, I kind of maybe I'm rushing. I rushed the suckers on the tentacles a little bit, but I figure as long as you get the idea that those could be suckers, maybe you can make. They could even be spikes or something. Really pink fleshy hands. Little spider eyes. Some outlines. It's kind of amazing, really, how much that black outline, you know, carries things together. But that's why comics are done that way, right? It's still kind of fun to watch. Kind of all of a sudden, isn't really tied together, and all of a sudden the black line comes through and just pulls everything in. Shadows in the back. There we go. Sign it with love. And this guy, we kind of name it. I got these kinds of weird things. I want to name them like extra vowels and start with X's and things. So Zach Rax. And then the little guys I basically named Skarkax. So with this font, it's got like a hollow area, but I wanted to get those in between spaces to be, you know, green. So basically, I'm coming through with the pencil tool here, filling in those shapes with a paint bucket. I really liked how that green was looking. Yellow would have looked pretty good too, but I kind of wanted to keep that green going through from the creature itself. There we go. There we go. And now we can group those together and add some layer effects to the group, the outline and the drop shadow. Kind of trying to play with the background here, a little bit of greenish. Green tones. Okay, here's the last guy. Pretty much, I think they're the Skarkax. So this is basically. Kind of started thinking maybe it would be like a juvenile version of that other thing, of the. It's such an unpronounceable name. I can't even hardly remember it from one stage to the next. But so here, watch how I've got his left and right arm, and at one point I realized that his right arm, which is our to the left arm as we're looking at it, you know, that little leg was in the wrong place, but then that arm, so. Kind of erased it out, redrew it so it'd be a little bit more action orientated. I want to keep the color scheme is going to be similar. Four-legged, 4 spikes. Tendency to, when I'm drawing with that circle on there, I kind of get things to fit in that circle in terms of curved grounds and stuff. Here we go with the color layer again. Purple and green action. That layer above and come through with some, basically, wash in some of the detail, get some of that texture going. At this point, I was really kind of pushing the end of my my 2-hour stream, so I'm rushing a little bit, but I think it still turns out okay. think for stats for some of these guys, like this thing, I always, like I said, I always kind of the minions. I always kind of work from a goblin first, but if it was a higher level creature, there's no reason why you couldn't work from an ogre or a something like an orc or a goblin, hobgoblin or something. Something with a little bit more hit points and more beef to it. But then again, a bunch of these and mobs might be kind of fun. There we are, the Skarkax. I was up against the clock, so I changed the font style because I didn't want to have to color it in the whole background again. There we go. Alright, well that's it. Hope you enjoyed that.
Okay, that was it, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. My little Saturday morning monsters, and I'm going to continue that on every Saturday morning for at least a while. It's just kind of fun to do. I think I really like Dungeons and Dragons, and might as well take some of my artwork and jam it in there. But yeah, these will be tokens. I'm going to set them up. They'll be available on joeaberino.com as basically they'll be in the body of some journal entries, blog entries that with as a ping with the transparency. So just as the circle. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it and really appreciate it. Please be sure to give me a like and a subscribe if you can. And really appreciate it. I'm going to try and do these more often. This felt pretty organic today. I hope it's going to turn out, how I made coffee and stuff. But I'm going to try this during the week and some of the other mornings when I'm getting started. So share some of how I get my day started and some of the paintings that I'm going to be coming up and doing. So it should be fun. And hope you join me on my journey. So thanks again. Love you all. Hope you get to smile early and smile often. So thanks a lot, everybody. Take care.